Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to grind your meat at home for fresh ground beef. And in order to have fresh ground beef for meatballs or burgers or meat pies or beef patties or any other type of ground beef dish, you want to start with a good whole muscle cut of beef. Right here you're looking at a London broil. This is a very lean cut. Over here, you're looking at a chuck roast. And the chuck roast has that marbling in it that we want to see. I'm not going to waste any of it. The fat is going to be used, the rough fat. This rough fat here and the rough fat on the outside is going to be put into a freezer bag for beef tallow, while the intramuscular fat is going to be ground up and used in my homemade ground beef. Okay, I'm going to do all of the work in my Ninja, and I have a cutting board and a sharp knife. I have 3 containers over here. The plastic bowl for what I'm going to cook today, another plastic bag for meat in the freezer. The other bag is for the beef fat, which is going to be used to make beef tallow. So I'm just going to remove the outer fat and the thick hard fat and put it in the bag for tallow. And then I'm going to cut this in 1-inch cubes. And I do want to note that this beef is semi-frozen, okay? Semi-frozen beef is what you need to make sure that your food processor doesn't get gummy when the fat starts melting. You also need to make sure your knife runs through it better. Semi-frozen beef. That's the key to making it unmushy and your knife going through it pretty easily. So let me start cutting out the fat and show you the 1-inch cubes of beef. This is an example of that type of fat you want removed. So you still have intramuscular fat, which you want to keep. You want to keep that to put in your Ninja. This piece of fat right here, you want to remove that. Okay? That goes in the pile for tallow. Another large hard piece of fat. That's tallow. Okay? The rest of this is beef ready for the Ninja. See? This type of fat is good. It's intramuscular fat. It's all throughout the beef. This connective tissue type fat, you want to get that out and put it in that tallow pile. You see? And even if you have a little bit of meat clinging to the fat for the tallow pile, that's fine because it can be all eaten later. Tallow pile. And I'm just going to finish up that steak, especially with all this big chunks of fat, which is perfectly wonderful. We just don't want it in our ground beef. We want that for our tallow. So there we have a pile of fatty connective tissue and fatty meat that's going to be frozen and saved for beef tallow. And then we have a pile of lean, mixed, whole muscle cuts of meat. Now, there's still fat in this. It's just not the hard connective tissue and outer layer of the fat. And the meat is still semi-frozen, and you see it's in 1-inch chunks. Now I'm going to start to blend it in my food processor. So I'm putting my meat, semi-frozen meat, in the mixer, about a half a cup. Screw it on, pulse it. there you have fresh ground beef. Fresh ground beef. I'm going to go through this process with the whole bowl, freeze most, and use some right now. The meat has to be semi-frozen. That's how you work it. Shake it down, pulse it out. Fresh ground beef. Look how pretty that is. That's going to make delicious beef-based dishes with no mystery meats. So I'm going to finish up this process and show you what it looks like when it's all done. So there you have it. I turned those two whole muscle cuts of chuck and London broil into 3 amazing containers of ground beef. Fresh ground, fresh minced beef. I'm going to use this one now, and let me show you how you get these other ones ready for the freezer. You want to kind of get it nice and flat, and you want to get the air out of the bag. You don't want any extra air in the bag. Then you seal it off just like that. Then you have meat ready for the freezer, fresh ground meat. Same with this. You want to get the air out the bag. Happy cooking! Hi YouTube, I'm going to show you how to do a Shake Shack burger at home. What you need is potato rolls, mayonnaise, ketchup, and pickle juice. That's how you make the Shake Shack copycat sauce. Mayonnaise equal parts, ketchup equal parts, and a drizzle of pickle juice to thin it out. You need a pan of butter to toast your rolls. And then you need to get into your ground beef. For your ground beef, you need fresh ground whole muscle cuts of meat. You need 1 egg, and you need a little teeny bit of quick cook oats. Then in the back you have your toppings, your cheese, your onions, and right here we have our tomato. This is what you need for a Shake Shack burger at home. So I have my melted butter. In my pan, the first thing I'm going to do is toast those rolls. I'm going to toast the potato roll gently on both sides. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, I have my potato rolls sitting in a little bit of butter, toasting on one side. While that's happening, I put a little bit of extra butter on the top. And you do want a good amount of crust to form on the bottom of the burger. Then you're going to flip it over and get both sides, warm. Okay, you're looking for that right there. Once you get your buns looking like that, slight crust, you want to get that top part going too. Alright, so a slight toast on all sides of the bun with a little bit of butter. This is a very, very, very important step. That is done. That is done. Any excess butter in the pan is going to be dealing with the burgers, okay? Once your buns look like that, they're ready to come out. and just set them aside somewhere where they can be kept warm. Okay. Awesome. Spread that remaining butter in the pan because we're going to need that for our burgers. Let's turn this off for 1 second and make our sauce. Okay, for the sauce, I'm going to use a half a cup of mayo, a half a cup of... So I have half a cup of mayo, half a cup of ketchup, and about a tablespoon of dill pickle juice. And I'm just going to whisk that together. And that's what Shake Shack sauce looks like and tastes like to me. Now that the Shake Shack sauce is done, we're going to set it aside. That's the Shake Shack sauce. It's delicious on the burger and the fries. Okay. Now that the sauce is done, I'm going to show you how to do the burger. So now I'm ready for my burger. The burger literally takes 6 minutes. I have beef, fresh ground beef, and I have 1 egg. Then I'm going to take some oats, a handful of oats, and you just want to get a light layer of oats on the top. Now the oats do 2 things. 1, they help form a crust. They help form a delicious crust on the burger. Then they give it a little fiber, which is good nutrition. Then I'm going to blend all that up. You do need your hands for this. You won't even be able to taste or see the oats once it's cooked. And the only seasoning I'm going to add to my beef is a hint of salt and pepper. That's all you need because the condiments and the quality of the beef is going to give you tons of flavor. So you see I sprinkled a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm going to do one final mix just to incorporate the salt and pepper. Okay, so when you're talking Shake Shack, you're talking about a smash burger or a super duper flat burger that's smashed into the grill. So I'm just going to take a palm size, and my pan should be able to fit 3 palm size balls. Just like that. And I have a little bit of butter in my pan. And now I'm going to put them in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the first smash is with the hand. Then you want to follow up with your burger press. Just like that. Smash it down. Feather it out. Mash it down on those corners. Let that crust get everywhere. Mash it down. Feather it out around the corners. And you want to let it go for about 2.5 minutes each side. Don't touch it anymore because you want that crust to form. So it's been about 2.5 minutes. Now I'm going to scrape the bottom of my cast iron pan, flip it. Scrape the bottom of the pan, flip it. Scrape the bottom of the pan, flip it. This is when you add your cheese. And you let it go for another 2 minutes on that last side. And you see that crust that's on that burger? So now that the cheese is melting, we're going to do just 2.5 minutes on the other side, and then we're going to assemble. Make sure the cheese melts down nice and good. Alright. While I'm letting the cheese go, I'm going to get my potato roll out. Then I'm going to adorn it with the Shake Shack sauce, onion, and tomato. So the burgers have finished cooking. So I have my bun. Let me get my Shake Shack sauce drizzled on the bun. I want a dollop on each side. Alright. Now that I have my Shake Shack sauce, I want onion on the bottom. I like to put the warm beef on top of the onion so the onion gets a little bit of a... So I got my onion on the roll, Shake Shack sauce. Now I'm going to get a burger and put it right on top of that onion so that the onion gets a little warmth and crispiness to it. I got my tomato, I got my 3 pickles, and I got my bun. That is how you do a Shake Shack burger at home. Let me tell you what it tastes like. Mmm.